What's up and good evening, everyone. It's Carpo once again. This will probably be my final video for the day. I've made quite a few. Been feeling inspired today, especially after watching a few videos on Thinking Aloud TV recently. Kind of got me inspired to make this video here. I'd like to tackle existentialism in the sense of embracing the human nature and the parts about ourselves that are human. And as I said in the last video, there have been seems to be too much pushing towards the positive, in the sense of not seeing things positively, but ignoring the negatives. And there's a huge difference between positive thinking and negative omission, in my mind. So, existentialism, in being the philosophy of living, if you will, it leads us to kind of find our own paths. It's like one man said that it's like being lost in the woods. You lose your path, and sometimes you have to start over. And the best thing you can do when you're lost in the woods is to stand still. And it's an interesting concept, but I see the path in life as the path of figuring out what life's about as being kind of like watching reading a really complicated book. You read it the first time and you gain a lot from it, but there are parts that you missed. So you go back and you reread it later in life and you pick up a lot more from it and gain a lot more insight. And each time you read it, you pick up something new. And that's how I see viewing human existence and the meaning for living. And some people say, well, the meaning of life is just to live. And that's true. But live after considering all the options of what it means to live. And what often happens is we omit some of the experiences that we find negative because we figure by ignoring them they're going to go away. And embracing them is just as important. So, what are the most important issues? And this is what I've come to in my life, my conclusion. What are the most important issues that we can deal with? And in my eyes, they're the ones that people don't want to talk about. And there's a lot of them. And I don't mean not talk about in the sense of conspiracies, that kind of stuff. I'm talking about the questions that we all face as individuals, that each one of us are affected by in our daily life, regardless of our status or location. The issues of death, the issues of suffering, the issues of accepting people, families, and tolerance, and racism. Things that people don't really like to talk about. There are some people who have very extreme views and stand up for what they think, but generally in the workplace these issues are a non-issue because people don't generally talk about them. And that's why I think they're the most important issues. Death being the most prominent, because I think that it's one of those, you bring it up and it just kind of is a downer. Nobody wants to hear about death. But by celebrating life, death becomes a non-issue too. And the more that we start to embrace what it means to be alive, the less we'll fear death or have to make up, dramatic examples of what happens after we die to make ourselves feel better, or to, try to communicate with the other side so we can convince ourselves that there is something, yet leave us hanging as to exactly what it is. There's this mystery surrounding what it means to be dead, just like what it means to be alive. But the only thing we can know for sure right now is what it means to be alive. So we can wonder about death, and we can wonder about suffering and pain. We can wonder about all the negative things without feeling like it's negative, because it's not. It's part of life. Everything's part of life. So the existentialist view would be one that I think we should all take, because we don't really have much of a choice but to live with ourselves in this real world, as much as people may think it's an illusion or make up dramatic excuses as to why the world isn't worth living in, or why we've destroyed it and we're destroying ourselves and it's not even worth it anymore, and that we're a scourge on this planet. All the different things I've heard. Here we are, and we're still here. So, got to make the best of it. Namaste, everyone. Have a great night.